Hey guys, welcome to the Mom Manifestation Revolution. I'm super excited today to introduce Jackie Kotei. Jackie, welcome. How are you doing today?
Hey, I'm doing great.
Awesome, awesome. So, you are definitely one of the coaches that has inspired me along my journey of, how you've just brought it all together, made a success of your life while also being a mother.
Yeah.
So, our audience are mainly mothers or women, starting out to find out their unique gift and how to make it all work. So
Mhm.
I'd love to hear sort of your, inside secrets, your top tips on how to get started on all this, for these women who have ideas that
Mhm.
they feel they want to bring to the world, they feel they have this calling within them, like where do they start and how do they make it work?
Yeah, I love that you asked that question. And I think one of the easiest ways for me to answer that is to really have a really, really strong reason why. And that was really, for me, what got this started because I had always been creative. My guess is that those of you watching, you're probably creative. You probably have a lot of great ideas. I had had success in different pieces of my life, but it really wasn't until I gave birth to my son. And that was about 4.5 years ago now that the why was like tangible. I could hold it in my arms and look at it. And it was stronger than all the other reasons why before, the ego reasons why. Like, I want to be successful. I want to have, it was like a very tangible reason why that was staring back and looking at me. And all of a sudden, my procrastination, my trying to figure it out, my trying to get it perfect went away because I knew for me at the time, I was working a full-time job and it was very demanding and I would have to leave him. And that was never what I wanted. I wanted to be able to like be more present. Not saying I didn't want to work or that I'm saying if you work, it's bad or anything like that. But it's like I wanted to be able to be present. If he was up all night the night before, I didn't want to have to get up exhausted and drive an hour and back forth to work. I wanted to be able to like snuggle up with him and stay there. And so all of a sudden, the intangible reasons why got really concrete because I knew every choice I made was either getting me closer to spending more time with him and really enjoying that time, or it was taking me further away. And so I think that I think often when you're an entrepreneur or you're someone who's driven, I often work with women that are driven, that are successful, that really want to create something different. And when you're creating something that's outside of yourself, you almost have to like anchor in and choose to be able to do that thing and focus on that thing. And so I think a lot of times with moms, especially, the same reason why you want to do something is the same reason that holds you back from doing it. And so even though he was the reason why I wanted to build my business, he was also the pain point because he would keep me up throughout the night. And he would, it's like it was painful. It was like instead of working my business, I wanted to be able to do this. And so it's like the same reasons that propel you are also the same reasons that can hold you back. And I think that really just thinking about in the short term, what's a sacrifice that you need to make so that in the long term you can really manifest what you want in your life. And I think often people like don't talk about that piece of it. They think, oh, I'm just gonna, like, I could say I'm just gonna hang out with my baby and hold him and like hang out with him all day and I'm gonna manifest what I want. Where I would say, no, you can hang out with him maybe for 2 or 3 hours that day. And then you also spend time working your plan or working your vision for an hour or two that day. But it needs to be very focused as well. And so that's kind of the dynamic that I would say as far as like how you can create what you want as a mom, especially because we do have a different set of challenges. And I think sometimes that can be discouraging, but I also feel like that's like one of the greatest gifts you can get is, and I think you're in a program that I coach. And I remember when I first went through that program, I was like the only mom. Like it was like 60 or 70 women. And, or let me just say I was the only mom with a baby. There were moms in there that had like older kids or kids that were, I was the only mom with a baby at the time. And I remember looking around and being like, well, they can work this many hours a day and they don't have to worry about traveling with and all these things. But it was also the thing that allowed me to create leverage leverage and do it smarter because I did have a baby. So I couldn't spend, the same amount of time. So I had to get smarter and more strategic about how I did things so that I could still create the results that I wanted.
Wow, wow, amazing. Yes, in fact, this is one of the reasons you inspire me so much, because um, as you know, I'm pregnant now, 5 weeks to go. And it's been so challenging to go through this pregnancy and create this interview series. But it's hearing stories from women like you who just, you know, just keep on keeping on no matter what. And this is actually the reason I was inspired to do this, is because once we hear it's possible, as you're saying, you heard them say and they were doing it. So it's like, okay, it's possible and we can do it.
Yeah.
And I also really resonate with what you're saying, that, the same reason that as our kids can propel us forward and hold us back, because it also sort of happened the same way for me, where when I had my daughter, then I realized I wanted to work less hours, be more flexible with my time, I have more money, but then of course there's the challenges as well. So these are such great points you've mentioned so far. Thank you so much.
Yeah, yeah. You're such a glowing mom, and I think you're smart. I mean, you're so radiant. I'm like, I'm like, I just kind of want that like glow again. But it's so true. And I think you're smart to be doing this series and to be offering this to your community, because it's like the more like, so what you allow to influence you and you allow to be able to really shape how you see things can be a make or break situation. And so it's better for us to be able to surround ourselves by stories of what's possible than be able to just even hang out with the people who have always done it this way or done it that way. And so that's one of the reasons why I do work in the media and I help people get featured in the media, because I feel like people that are change makers or pioneers or are doing something that's not been traditionally done are the people that help shape and influence people into what's possible. And so this is a great example of that, is being able to have your series really influence people and show them what else is possible. Who are the women that are creating great success and being great moms as well.
Amazing, amazing. And I think this is a good point to mention, because I don't think we've touched on the importance of being influenced throughout the series. So I would love to hear a bit more from you about the importance of being influenced, because sometimes we don't know the importance. Other things get on top of us, and it's like almost these simple things, but once we know, then we know where to focus.
Yeah, I think at every moment of my journey, I allowed myself to be influenced by someone or something greater than myself. And that was really difficult because I was already pretty successful by everyone else's standards. I had a nice job, I had a company car, my bosses loved me. And so I had many things that were going for me, but behind closed doors, I was like up in the middle of the night because I couldn't just figure out how to get to the next evolution. I wanted to create something that was different than what people around me had. I mean, I live on the East Coast in Maryland in the USA, where people go get a good government job and they do that for 30 years of their life and retire. And that's where I was. I was in year like 3 of my government job. And I was like, wait, I can't get a raise because of what? Like the schedule, or that's like something. And so I knew I had to create something different, but what I didn't know was how to create it, because I had really like maxed out what was success by everyone else's standards in my community and in my network. And so that was when I remember praying. I was like, God, if you just show me a way, I will do whatever it takes. And that's when an email popped in my inbox, and I allowed myself to be influenced by it. The email talked about making money from your blog. I had a blog at the time that had been sitting and collecting dust for a year, and I kept being like, yeah, I'm going to post. Yeah, I'm going to get started. And it like didn't. And so that really opened up me to what now is, I've been in this version of my business for about the same amount of time as my son has been alive. And I just thinking about who has the results in their life that I want, not just on the surface, but also behind the scenes. Like, who is a great mom who's living their purpose, that is healthy. And, you know, it's like, who really has the life that I want? And it really took a lot of humility for me to allow myself to be influenced. And so for those that are watching, I mean, I think there's first and foremost, almost every great thing that I've accomplished in this evolution of my business has come by me allowing myself to be influenced by something. So I would say pick someone or something that inspires you, that influences you. And then really make a decision to be coachable. I think that's the other trademark of me. And again, if I didn't have a baby, like I would maybe be like, yeah, I'll try to figure it out on my own. But I'm like, I don't have time for that this go around. I did that 10 years ago when I started a business and it failed. I was like, I'll just figure it out. I can't, you know, invest and all that. And so allow yourself to be influenced and to be coachable once you get that influencing, meaning you're following the steps, you're doing what is said. Even sometimes when I don't want to, it's like, I'm like, well, you know, let me just at least try it. Like, it can't hurt. And that's been some of the greatest things that has come about in my life. Even what I do right now, I help people get featured on TV and featured in the media. And when I first started my business 4.5 years ago, I was like, I don't want to do that anymore. I was doing that full time for the agency. I was, you know, their crisis communications person, training their team, speaking, all that. And I was like, I'm just done with that. And I remember about 1.5 years into my business, my mentor said, you should really think about doing this in a way that's authentic to you. And I said, no, like, no way. And she's like, I'm serious. Like, and she painted a picture for me of what was possible. And now 2.5 years later, we help people get on TV in 30 days. We help people do publicity they can be proud of and really influence the masses in the media. So that's like a whole nother level of influencing. I always tell people to think about the Olympics. If anybody, you know, if you guys watch the Olympics, it's like when the Olympics is on, everyone's watching. They're tuning in from all over the globe. They're looking at the stories of athletes overcoming adversity. Like 1 minute they're in a coma, like, you know, 2 years ago, now they're like going for the gold on the Olympic stage. And so I always tell people, like, imagine you as the expert being featured on television or in the media around what you do in this world. And imagine influencing even bigger, larger audiences of people. And so that's, you know, I could talk on and on about influence, but that's, I think you as a mom, as an entrepreneur, as someone who has a big vision for what's possible in the world, need to open yourself up to being influenced and being coachable. And I also think you have a responsibility in terms of helping others to be influencing in media, whether that's podcasts, Facebook Lives, TV, radio. I mean, we help people with all of it, but that's a lot of, you know, my point of view around that.
Amazing. And I think it is sort of the secret to a success mindset is, as you're saying, first of all, being coachable, being okay to be sold to and to be influenced to make bigger decisions, and then getting out of your own way, you know, to be shown how to be an influencer that makes an impact. Because I remember having the small mindset of, oh, who am I to do it? And when you get out of that, it's like, oh, okay, if I get out of my own way, I actually have something valuable to share. And then when we have someone like, you know, a media brand staff just by our side, it's like, it just gives you such a faster way to bring it all together.
Yeah, absolutely. I think I love that you share that. And I think that and I know your summit's all about manifestation. And I think some of the greatest moments in my life have been manifested for me by being seen and by showing up and to be seen. And I know that there's like all these feelings of inadequacy. There's a quote, actually, I don't know if you guys have read this book, The Law of Divine Compensation by Marianne Williamson. I happen to have it here because I was doing a video for my clients earlier, but she writes this quote about how our deepest fear is not that we're inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. And she talks about, who am I to believe that I'm brilliant, courageous, talented, fabulous? Who are you not to be? And how you let your light shine, you give permission for others to do the same. And so I say that to say that when you think about manifestation and you think about creating what you want in this life, it really is about you being willing to be seen and to show up as if that thing is already here, now in the present. So what would you do today if you knew that you could really create anything in your life? How would you show up? Who would you tell about it? So kind of like when you're pregnant, or even when you're getting married, it's like, you're like, oh my goodness, I'm getting married, or oh my goodness, I'm pregnant. It's the same thing with your vision and your dreams and what you want to manifest. Like, really just be in that energy of, I'm so excited, I could tell the world. And that's going to open up so many doors for you.
Amazing, amazing. Sharing such powerful stuff here. And I think what's important to mention here is, when you become the influencer, and as you're talking about these fears, and that's such a great quote, is the challenge of stepping into our visibility, and really just, allowing yourself to become visible. So we're going to take a moment to remind everybody watching, how powerful you are, how much you do have to offer, and that, those fears and doubts, we all have them. And, it's just about, as we're saying, listening to the right people, choosing the right decisions that are going to get you there faster. When if you have the right coach, what will take you 5 years can take you 1 year, but sometimes we don't even feel valuable enough to have that. So you're just mentioning such valuable points, in this journey of tapping into your unique gift, finding where you love, and living a life full of joy. Amazing. So share with us, Jackie, what is I want to know, as since you're, a successful coach, entrepreneur, mom, what's your daily mindset practice or daily spiritual practice that keeps your energy good to go?
Yeah, so I have several that I frequent depending on what's up for me. I honestly make a decision normally at the beginning of the month, like what is going to be my 21 or 30-day focus. But one of the constants for me these days is really praying and reading the Bible. I've kind of like re-anchored into my faith. And I just find that it nurtures me and it kind of keeps me grounded. So that's like a like frequent for me. And I've been known to do other things. Like I'll do 21-day meditation challenges. I'll listen to I am affirmations for 21 days. I'll journal gratitude. I might listen to an energy clearing. It just really depends on like what the focus is for me that month and like what it is that I really want to anchor into. Even for those, I mean, I could give you guys one for those of you that want to be seen more and want to like be able to show up more. One of them is looking in the mirror every day. And I think this was first from like Louise Hay, but like looking in the mirror every day and just telling yourself, I love you. I see you. I appreciate you. I'm proud of myself, because that's a good way to start. Like if you're one of the people watching right now and you're like, oh my goodness, media is over my head, that's a good place to start. And if you are like, media is not over my head, I'm excited about that, I'll tell you to do what I first did when I first got on TV. And it was cutting out the places I want to get on TV and putting it on a vision board. And that was how I first got on. About 12 years ago, I was just getting out of college. I knew I wanted to do media. And however, I had never really like been on media other than like in college. And so I cut out an NBC logo and I put it on a vision board, and I cut out a CNN logo and I put it on a vision board. And do you know that I would say about 4 or 5 months later, a girlfriend magically called me and she said this news director wanted to talk to me, and that led to me getting on NBC. I couldn't believe it. And then while I was at NBC, I got called by CNN and I did a live story on CNN. And so that's what I would say for those of you that are like, I really want to be on Oprah, I know it already. Do that. Like pick places you want to be, put it on a vision board. I just had a client hire me from Germany. She's like, you've been on my vision board for a year. And so it works. And then if you're like, I'm definitely afraid of the camera, I can't even think about it, start with the mirror exercise, because what that'll do is allow yourself to see yourself as the diamond that you are.
Amazing, amazing. Love it. And yes, mirror work is super powerful. Wow, Jackie, thank you so much. It's been a short time, but some really powerful tips, which I know have inspired me, and, every time I reach out to you. So hopefully everyone was watching and taking notes. If not, make sure to go back and replay and take them down so you know where to start and how to get yourself going. Jackie's also been kind enough to share a free gift with us. Would you like to share what that is?
Oh yeah, I would love for you guys to check out my Get on National TV template. Even if you're thinking national TV is a year out, 5 years out, down the road, it really has a great framework for what that needs to look like. And, it's also going to allow you to be a part of my community so you can get more tips. I mean, we do trainings on like how to do video well and all that fun stuff, how to get more confidence. So that's what I would recommend. And, for those of you that think you want to get on TV soon, it gives you a template of what to say, who to reach out to, how to go about that. So it's a great place to be able to really see what's possible with being seen and doing media and really manifesting your message on a global scale.
Awesome, awesome. Thank you so much. What a generous gift. And where can people find you?
They can find me on social media. Just look up my name, Jackie Kotei. Feel free to send me a friend request. I love connecting with people, and, just let me know that you guys saw me here. And yeah, it'd be great to connect and hear more of your stories and also support. Because I think being a mom, we live in such an age where you don't have to go at it alone. And I think, the more that you can really create a community. I love that you and I are in the same community. And, I think it's just cool.
Amazing, amazing. Jackie, thank you so much for your time today. It's been refreshing and inspiring as always. And I just want to take a moment to say thank you to everyone. This is our last interview. It's been such a fantastic series. So thank you all for your time and for watching, and we'll be in touch. Bye.